So, how do you spot a fake guru? Now that's the question for today's video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you identify some of the main... Now this guy's talking about fake gurus, right? What's going on, people? So there was a few reasons I thought I'd start the introduction like that. The first was to show you not to believe every single thing that you see on the internet. And the second was to educate you in relation to fake gurus, because this is something that's going to save you a hell of a lot of money. And more importantly, time. So the purposes of this video is simple. I'm going to demonstrate 3 things. What is a fake guru? How to spot a fake guru? And 3, my personal dealings with a fake guru. So I think the best place to start is actually identify what a fake guru is. Now I'm sure that's not rocket science, because we've also seen incredible YouTubers talking about these matters, such as your CoffeeZillas, your Mike Winners, and even Shaf Rasool. And what I'm not trying to do is add myself into that bracket, because my channel is about finding your voice. And guess what? I do it for free. But can we say the same for fake gurus? You see, one of the things I recognized over the years is, regardless of where you started in life, many of us want to achieve more. We want to become more. And whether that's for ourselves or whether that's for our family, we want to really strive to change people's circumstances around us, but also change our own circumstances. If you've ever felt depressed, if you've ever struggled with debt, or you've just been vulnerable at any stage in your life, then you sadly are a key target for these gurus. And just in case somebody is sitting there and saying, well, you're just jumping on the bandwagon here now and trying to get some views, well, I have a few things to say. Yes, absolutely, a few views for this channel would absolutely help me, because I spend a hell of a lot of time editing this, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is, for the last 3 years, if you check across all of my social medias, I have been preaching due diligence. There are actually more videos of me saying due diligence than there is of me creating videos like this. But one of the things I recognized with my due diligence videos was there was a lot of nodding the head. There was a lot of I understand. But then I was seeing the same people fall victim to the same fake gurus. Now, one thing I don't want to do in this video is give traction or give some exposure to some of these fake gurus, because they don't deserve it. At least if you're going to be a fake guru, be a bloody good one. So therefore, I'm gonna tackle the best fake gurus out there. And I'm not gonna touch on the smaller ones who would need a video like this, which with your help can go viral, to give them more exposure. So what I'm actually gonna do is break this down into nice step-by-step ways that you can literally identify fake gurus from a mile off. Now, it's really, really important that you get yourself a pen and a paper, because you need to take notes. Because one thing I recognize is sometimes we hear stuff, we acknowledge it, we almost think that we understand it, but then we fall victim and end up forgetting about it. So point number 1, what is a fake guru? It's somebody who pretends there's something that they're not. A entrepreneur, a furu, or someone who lies to manipulate you to part with your money on the basis of selling this dream that just doesn't exist or isn't even possible. Somebody who is a better speaker than they are an action taker. Now I could go on and make a 20-minute video of what these fake gurus are about, but I need to give you something tangible that you can literally take away today and really recognize who are the people that you should just keep an eye on before you part with your money. So here are some real life examples, and as you can see, you've got the Jay Shettys of the world, the Ty Lopeses, the Dan Locks, Sam Ovens, and the Brian Dulaneys. Now it doesn't stop there, because there's so many of these people trying to influence you, trying to get you with their clickbait titles and their clickbait emotional ads to really jump into what they're advertising. And it's really, really important you listen to me now and you get that pen and paper I mentioned earlier, simply because just by writing it down, you are 50% more likely to retain the information. Now, one thing you didn't recognize was that stat was absolutely made up. And this just shows the power of sometimes, if you say something with so much certainty and so much confidence, people often believe it's true. So anyway, let's get down to this. Step 1, they usually offer free training. And it's usually based on a webinar where you give them the email, and that is the first transaction that they then have a grasp on you. And they're literally carbon copies of each other, where it's wealth creation, become financially free, laptop lifestyle, or you can be just like me. don't you just want to be like me? Now the problem is the training doesn't actually teach you anything. Well, nothing actually that a quick Google search can't teach you, because Google books can teach you a hell of a lot more than a 90-minute webinar of these fake gurus. But of course, at this point, none of us know this, so bear with me. Because as you jump into this webinar, you're going to realize a much more sinister intent by the fake gurus. You see, what they're initially trying to do is hook you into their products, into almost like a ClickFunnels perhaps, mentorships, or maybe even a mastermind group. And the reason they do this is to really change your thoughts and kind of reprogram your mind. Now, some of you are probably thinking, this just doesn't sound real. I accept that. But what they're actually trying to do is get you dependent upon them. They're trying to make you hooked into believing that if you stay with them and obviously part a hell of a lot of money, you can be not only like them, maybe even more successful. Now, one of the biggest problems with this is these people aren't exclusive to the industry that I operate in. So I operate in the property industry, or real estate for some of you abroad. However, you may be in sales, or you may be into forex trading, or whatever it is that your heart desires as your vehicle for, well, financial freedom, or wealth creation, or just to live your dreams. And whatever it is, I promise you, there is a fake guru waiting to get your money. So let's just stick to property just for the sake of this video, because property is something, well, I kind of understand. Again, I'm not a guru. Now at this point, I would say that some of them may know the basics. And when I say basics, that might just mean simple acronyms and simple buzzwords, such as power team, brokers, solicitors, conveyancing, refurbs, stamp duty, tax. They'll say all these words and it's very, very generic, but the more of those you put together, the more you seem like you know what you're doing. And the crazy thing with this is a quick search on Fiverr actually allows you to pick up a script. So half of these webinars, they're not even their own words. So yes, a bit of general knowledge is definitely there, but don't let that pull the wool over your eyes, because sometimes when we are desperate for hope, one of the things I recognized is we often see what we want to see and hear what we want to hear. Which is why now when I see this in the property industry, I instantly know when somebody is speaking BS. It's pretty evident to me. But it wasn't always like that. You see, I first became a landlord 8 years ago, but I only really got into property full time 4 years ago. And even then, especially the first, I'd say 2 years, I was believing what everyone was saying. I mean, after all, when somebody says something, why would I need to disbelieve that what they're saying is dishonest? Welcome to the world of social media. I now advise every single one of you to make sure that you trust but verify every single thing every single person tells you, especially, and this is a kicker, especially if they're trying to sell you something, if they're a mentor, or if they have a course. Step 2, social profiles. Now this is very, very easy to do, but so often when we already have someone on a pedestal, or we assume that they may be an industry expert, we don't look deeper into their social media profiles. And a social media profile is pretty crazy, because you can literally write anything on your bio. You can call yourself a 7-figure entrepreneur. You can tell the world that you coach celebrities and you've helped thousands and thousands of people become financially free. But here's where you can really spot the fake ones. They will 100% at some stage, somewhere across one of their social media platforms, have fake followers. And with these ridiculous bios where they claim all this amazing, wonderful stuff that they're doing, often with shiny cars, but not always, because some of them want to tell you that maybe you shouldn't buy a car because you should invest your hard-earned money with them into real estate, because real estate is an asset and property makes you money and cars are a liability. You're going to start to see the cracks. And the cracks are evident, because I've seen so many people instantly go from 0 to 6,000 or 7,000 Instagram followers. But if you look a little bit closer, you're gonna see a lot of people from India. And this just creates a fake perception. And it's through their profiles they use perception. And perception is a crazy thing, because just like you can do anything you want to do. And this is the power of social media and a few camera tricks. Now, once they have this idea of a perception that they're going to create, whether it is an expert in the property field or forex trading or sales, then they need to start to market themselves. And the way they do this is by jumping into places where there is a lot of people. So think network events, property Facebook groups. Yes, these people aren't that lazy. They actually do something. So they do create this incredibly shit webinar, but they also focus on some of the things that are key to roping people like you and me into their funnels. And that is public speaking. Now, public speaking is one of the biggest fears across the world. In fact, some people even say that people are more afraid of public speaking than death. But what they do is they become very, very good at speaking, almost talking the talk without actually needing to walk the walk. And then through a combination of learning some manipulation through NLP, which I don't actually have a bad connotation towards like I used to, but I do question why you need NLP to sell a property course. So step 3 is pulling on emotional strings. And this is where they use other tactics such as Facebook ads or Instagram ads. Yes, I've seen your ads and they're pretty shocking. But I guess they're only shocking in hindsight, because initially I used to scratch my head and think, for £2,000 I could be rich for the rest of my life? Now that's tempting. And what they'll generally do is they'll prey on vulnerable people. So vulnerable people are normally young people, because most young people don't really have a clear indication of where they want to go in life. And many of us, especially myself when I was young, we have no bloody money. Or they'll go for people who are in debt, or people that want to provide more for their family. Basically, genuinely good-hearted people who just want to make a positive change in their lives. Now, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but life kind of doesn't work that way. And obviously, if you listen to my other episodes, you're going to recognize that sometimes we can't choose the cards that we're dealt. But these people will tell you that you can. These people will tell you that they have this secret deck of cards that they're going to give to you so you can play to win at this game called life for just joining their webinar. And it's in this actual webinar where the sinister acts really start to play a part. You see, generally speaking, most of these webinars are between 60 to 2 to maybe even 3 hours. Yes, I've sat through 3 hours of a webinar. And they'll give you this dream. They'll give you this sense of they're just like you. They see something in you. They were all broke, coincidentally. They were all unhappy. They hated their jobs. And here's the kicker, some of them were even depressed. Now that one really grinds my gears, because you are using a form of mental illness, something that I advocate very, very strongly for, to try and rope somebody in to buying something from you. And it's through all this they tell you how hard their life was, and they have to have this sub story. You know, the stuff you see on X Factor or American Idol. Only the thing with that is, that's actually probably true. That stuff really happened and they're just sharing it on camera. But they're not asking us to buy anything from them, so, you know, I kind of accept those sub stories. Plus, a few of them actually made me cry. So after telling you, of course, how you could be just like them and really rise from the ashes to become anything that you want to do, they are offering you a free course. And it is through this 90 minutes or 60-minute webinar or however long it is that they tell you how they rose from the ashes to earn 6 or 7 figures, to travel the world, to buy anything they want, to have numerous properties and real estate, to have anything that their heart desired. And guess what? You can be just like them. Yes, you. Because there's something about you that reminds you of them. And just to add a little bit more context into why this happens, the reason for having a prolonged webinar is because it builds trust. Have you ever listened to a podcaster and after a numerous amount of episodes or time listening to that person's voice, you start to feel like you trust them. You feel like you know something about that person. Well, this is kind of what they do. And the longer you spend with them, the more they tell you about their life and their vulnerabilities and their struggles in life, and how all they wanted to do was make a change. And now they want to help you make that change. You start to instantly warm towards them. And this is where the hard sell comes, because nothing sadly in life is free. Well, actually that's a lie. This YouTube channel is free, and if you've enjoyed the content up until now and you can appreciate how long this stuff takes to edit, then all I ask from you is you hit that notification bell, you press the subscribe button, and you like this video. And if you don't like this video and you are a fake guru and you hate me right now, press the dislike button. Let's see how many fake gurus we have out there, because I reckon there's a lot of you out there. Now, back to the webinar. What are you looking to really learn from this webinar? Other than some generic stuff, which I mentioned earlier that you can find all over Google, nothing. Like, seriously, nothing. I mean, you could always ask them how to create a fake course or how to run ClickFunnels, but the chances are that's probably not even their work as well. And you're very, very quickly gonna start to realize the more webinars you do, everything is Googleable. 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 New word alert, Googleable. But the problem is perception has already been created, and when you're already in awe of them, you are instantly putting them at a pedestal and you're hearing what you want to hear and you're seeing what you want to see. And remember, this is okay. And the reason you're doing this is because in this particular moment, you are in a state of vulnerability yourself, where all you really want is some help, some assistance, some guidance. And who better than Mr. Fake Guru or Mrs. In comes mindset. But when a guru uses that word, it's a little bit more sinister, because what they're effectively trying to do is change your mindset around the things that they need you to do, such as money. So they will tell you that money is everywhere. And there is abundance of money. And this abundance of money is yours. It's yours after you take this course with them, after you go on this journey with them. And the reason they create this notion of abundance around money is because now they're gonna ask for your money. Isn't that crazy, right? If we just stop the video there, let's just stop the video there. They have all this money, like all this money. They've even said that they have more money than they could spend. They have more properties than they know what to do with. Yet they still need your money. It just doesn't sit with me, especially because they want to help you. Now, disclaimer alert, like literally a disclaimer alert. They have a disclaimer. If you read the small print, you are 100% responsible for your success. Now that seems like a cop-out to me. But you see, by putting this disclaimer in there and saying that you're accountable and that it's all on you and it depends on how hard you work, they instantly take the blame game away. They make sure that they've covered themselves when you buy their bullshit course and nothing happens and you don't get the success, because then what happens is that you start to doubt yourself, that you sit there with yourself and think, maybe I should have tried hard enough. Maybe I should have worked a few more hours. Now at this point, you'd think that this person would have the humility and the heart to think, well, I've already screwed that person over, maybe I should leave him. This is where they come back again, and this time when they come back, they come with a mastermind or a one-to-one mentorship where they're saying, you're so close, but now work with me. I feel like you need to be a little bit closer to me. Now, one thing I actually forgot to do while I was recording this video was to mention something that is, well, laughable. And this is a contradiction if you ask me, because although they've claimed, and they will claim, it's not a quick rich get scheme, they're instantly showing you testimonials where people are earning so much money so quickly. Like, you can't make this up. Like, you actually can't make this stuff up. The problem is, when emotions are high, logic is low. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I need you to think with logic. Please think with logic. And it's after this testimonials where things really start to heat up. You see, if you were a little bit tentative at the start, you're now licking your lips and thinking, what do I have in my savings? And for some of you, you may still be skeptical and you may not have enough money, but don't despair. They've got another trick up their sleeve: scarcity. Welcome, scarcity. And it's in scarcity that they say there is just a limited number of spaces, or there is just a certain amount of time that you can benefit, yes, you, to change your life. And in order to do that, you need to act now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, now. And remember, this is only for people who really want to change their life. So if you're that person who doesn't want to change your life, then I suggest you do not sign up. But for the action takers, for the people who really want to achieve and be just like me, because I was just like you, then for a short period of time, they will add some crazy figure that normally ends with a 7. Now, one of the things I recognize is I have the benefit of hindsight, but for many of you, you simply do not have the benefit of hindsight. You literally may have just a small amount of money, and more importantly, time. Time is our most important commodity, and you're so close to wasting it, and I urge you not to waste it. Now, I know I promised a free course. No, an actual free course. There is no ClickFunnels, there is no upselling, there is no way you can actually even work with me. And it's with this course, what I'm gonna do is create a playlist on this channel, and I'm just gonna have the basics of investing in real estate, or property as we call it in the UK. I wanna make sure you don't have the same heartaches as me, and I also wanna make sure you don't get roped in to the same gurus as me. And on that point, that leads me to the third. I was roped in by a guru. But I'm very, very conscious now that this video is very long. And if you stuck with me now, this is almost like a Netflix series. And I want to give you value, and I want to do this properly. So I'm going to actually do a whole new video on this. But what I will do is give you some hints on these people. They speak on stage, they speak at property events, they have fake Instagram followers, they have fake Facebook followers. So if you want to see that please do check it out. But of course, the rest of my videos are more on upgrading your mindset and helping you persevere through life. So if you are interested in those, please do check them out as well. Check out the playlist. I spend a hell of a lot of time editing these videos, but I'm also interested to know what kind of videos you want to see as well. So if you want to see more property stuff or more business related stuff, let me know. But if you're happy with the animation videos, then also let me know too. The only problem with that is I've just spent a hell of a lot of money on this camera. So until next time, people, thanks for watching.